You've built beautiful raised beds, filled them with rich compost and organic matter, maybe even sprinkled in some worm castings. Yet, when you dig in, no worms. The soil feels lifeless, compacted, or strangely dry. What happened? Why would earthworms, the very foundation of living soil, flee from the place you built for them to thrive? The answer often lies not in what you forgot to add, but in what you did. Today, let's uncover the hidden soil mistakes that silently drive your worms away, and how to fix them fast before your raised beds turn into sterile boxes. Chemical fertilizers might be feeding your plants but starving your soil life. Worms don't eat fertilizers, they eat microbes. And when you pour in high nitrogen synthetic fertilizers, you disrupt the delicate microbial balance worms rely on. These salts burn soft worm tissues and lower the soil's natural pH, creating an environment too harsh for them to survive. You might see lush growth at first, but below the surface, life collapses. When the microbes die off, worms pack up and leave because their food source is gone. The fix? Well, it's pretty simple. Stop feeding your soil chemicals meant for hydroponics. Instead, nurture microbes through organic matter, like compost, mulched leaves, or even fermented plant juice. The worms will return once the microbial buffet is back on the menu. Too much manure or compost can actually suffocate worms instead of feeding them. It sounds a bit counterintuitive. How could too much compost be a bad thing? But overloaded organic matter, especially manure that hasn't fully broken down, can heat up and turn anaerobic. That heat and gas release, especially ammonia from manure, will drive worms away. In raised beds, where airflow is limited, the problem just magnifies. Your soil may look rich, but honestly, it could actually be burning alive underneath. The fix is simple. Use mature compost only, dark, earthy, and cool to the touch. Mix it with topsoil or mulch rather than dumping it in thick layers. Balance really is the secret to keeping soil life breathing. So, you'll want to avoid citrus peels, onions, and spicy scraps in worm-heavy beds. Kitchen waste can be fantastic for garden beds, but not all scraps are worm-friendly, you know. Citrus peels, onions, garlic, and spicy foods actually contain natural antibacterial and antifungal compounds that suppress microbes and can really irritate worm skin. These scraps are totally fine for hot compost piles where the high temperatures neutralize those tricky compounds. But in raised beds or worm-rich soil, they're a problem. Worms can sense them instantly and will migrate to safer zones. The fix is pretty simple. Just save acidic and spicy scraps for a separate compost pile. In your raised beds, stick with gentle organic matter like crushed leaves, old straw, grass clippings, and vegetable waste that's already decomposed. So, dry soil basically means desertion. Worms really need moisture to breathe. You see, earthworms actually breathe through their skin. If your raised bed dries out, well, oxygen exchange just stops, and then the worms unfortunately suffocate. Even just a few days of dryness can cause an exodus or, even a mass die-off. Raised beds, especially those made from wood or metal, tend to dry out way faster than in-ground gardens. And, the heat of summer can absolutely bake those upper layers, turning what was once living soil into dust. The fix is pretty simple. Keep a nice, thick mulch blanket, something like 2 to 3 inches of shredded leaves, straw, or compost. And remember to water deeply but less often, ideally in the morning, so the moisture really sinks down to those lower layers. That's where your worms will stay happy and active. So, don't till or over-disturb your raised bed soil. Worms are, the architects of soil tunnels and chambers. When we dig, turn, or fluff the soil too often, we actually destroy their homes and those important microbial pathways. Worms really prefer stability, the kind of layered, protected environment you'd find on a natural forest floor. in raised beds, all that constant replanting and tilling can be pretty exhausting for them. So, they simply relocate to calmer, undisturbed zones. The fix is actually pretty simple. Just embrace the no-till method. Layer organic matter, top dress with compost, and let the worms mix it all up naturally. You'll end up with fluffier soil, stronger root systems, and zero compaction, all without ever lifting a shovel. If worms are vanishing from your raised beds, your soil isn't dying. It's warning you. Worms are the voice of your soil, and their disappearance means something is out of balance. Avoid harsh fertilizers, hot manures, and acidic scraps. Keep the soil moist, mulched, and undisturbed. Within a few weeks, the balance returns, and you'll see the telltale castings, the signature of a thriving underground world. When worms thrive, your plants don't just grow, they flourish naturally without needing constant fertilizer boosts. If this helped you revive your soil life, subscribe to Gentle Herb Living and share this video with a gardener friend. Let's bring our soil back to life, one raised bed at a time.